Have you ever seen someone who looked exactly like you? Not just similar, but identical. And what if they knew everything about you while you remembered nothing about them? This is what happened to me. I first saw her on a Tuesday. It was raining, the kind of soft, lazy rain that makes the city feel slower, like it's exhaling. I'd taken the long way home from work, headphones in, head down, eyes on the cracks in the pavement. When I passed by the window of a cafe I didn't usually notice, something pulled me to glance, and there she was, sitting by the window, a half-empty cup in front of her, reading a book I'd read last winter, wearing the same kind of coat I was wearing, with hair that curled at the ends exactly like mine. I stopped walking. My headphones kept playing, but my brain had muted everything. I stared, forgetting how to breathe. It wasn't just resemblance. It was me. My face, my posture, my habit of tapping the edge of the cup when I'm thinking. She even tilted her head slightly left when she read, like I do. My first instinct, I was having a breakdown. My second, she was some social experiment. My third, maybe I had a twin no one told me about. I stepped closer to the window. She looked up, as if she felt me, and we locked eyes. That second stretched into eternity. My stomach twisted. I don't know what I expected. Surprise, recognition, but she didn't flinch. She just looked at me, blankly. Then she smiled. Not a friendly smile, not a polite one. A small, knowing curve of her lips, like someone who's already 2 steps ahead in the game you didn't know you were playing. And then she got up, put her book in her bag, left the cafe, walked right past me on the sidewalk without saying a word. But as she passed, she whispered, just barely loud enough to hear, "You're late." I stood there for a full minute, in the rain, soaked and silent. My heart racing, my mind scrambling for logic. Who the hell was she? And how did she know me? I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, my face. Only it wasn't mine. Not entirely. There was something sharper in her eyes, something colder. She looked like me, but with the volume turned down on all the softness. Like she'd erased every ounce of hesitation. I started digging. Social media, facial recognition apps. I even called my mother, casually asking if there was any family history I should know about. Nothing. The next day, I went back to the cafe. I sat in the same seat, ordered the same drink, waited. She didn't come. But the barista remembered her, said she was a regular, though always came at different times, never spoke much, paid in cash, no name on the loyalty card. Of course not. For the next 3 days, I changed my routine, took late walks, sat in quiet places, watched people too closely. I started seeing her everywhere, in the reflection of a subway window, across the street in a long coat, in the mirror, even though I knew it was just me. I was unraveling, and I knew it. But then, Thursday, it was dark. I'd taken a wrong turn trying to clear my head, ended up in a part of town I hadn't walked through in years, and there she was, standing under a flickering street lamp, looking straight at me, as if she'd been waiting. I froze. She didn't move. I took one hesitant step forward, and she smiled again, the same small, eerie smile. And then, slowly, she walked into the alley. I should have run. I should have turned around, but I didn't. I followed. The alley was narrow, wet bricks, echoes of our footsteps. I turned a corner, and she was gone, just gone. I stood there, heart hammering in my chest, trying to make sense of it. Then I saw it, a folded piece of paper resting on a ledge. My name was written on it, in my own handwriting. I unfolded the paper with shaking hands. There were only 5 words, written in sharp, slanted script. Mine, but not quite. You remember more than you think. That was it. But those words hit me like a punch to the chest because someone used to say that to me. A man. A voice from childhood, deep and soft. Always when I was scared, only I didn't remember who he was, or when, or why it made my throat tighten. I pressed the paper to my chest, closed my eyes, tried to breathe. That night, I dreamed of a hallway, long, white, flickering lights. I was small, barefoot, cold. There were numbers on the doors, voices behind the walls. I heard someone crying, and then her, standing at the end of the hallway, looking back at me with the same eyes. My eyes. But she wasn't a child. She was me now, older, still, waiting. I woke up gasping, sheets twisted around me, the world spinning. I'd never had dreams like that. Not vivid, not layered, not like memories. So I did something I hadn't done since I was a teenager. I pulled out the shoebox of old photos from under my bed. Birthdays, school plays, family trips. But the further back I looked, the stranger it felt. There were gaps. Holidays I didn't remember. Faces that looked blurred, like someone had tried to edit the memory. And in every picture of me as a child, my smile looked a little off. Forced, tired, like I knew something I wasn't supposed to know. That day, I went to my childhood doctor's office. I asked for my medical records. They said they had none before age 9. That's impossible, I said. The nurse looked uncomfortable, said maybe they were lost in a data transfer. But her eyes, they told me something else. She knew. The next clue didn't come from her. It came from my own closet. I was digging for an old coat when I found a box tucked behind a stack of winter boots. One I didn't recognize. Inside was a tiny black flash drive. No label, just a sticker with a single word. Stop. Of course I didn't. I plugged it into my laptop half expecting a virus. Instead, it opened a single video file. It was grainy, surveillance style. A room with blank walls, a woman sitting in a chair, her hands clasped in her lap, a man pacing. The woman was me. Except it wasn't. Her posture was stiffer. Her hair was a little longer. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was colder. She won't remember any of this, she said. The man replied, we're giving her what she asked for. A full reset. Witness protection at the cognitive level. And if she comes looking, she won't. That version of her will be gone. I stared at the screen, not breathing. That was my voice. That was my face. But I had no memory of that room. Was I in a witness protection program? But why? What had I seen? What had I done? And more importantly, why was that version of me still out there? It made sense now. The strange gaps, the missing records, the nightmares, and her. She wasn't a stranger. She was the version of me they left behind. And now, she was watching. I went back to the cafe. I waited in the same seat for hours. Finally, she appeared, sat down across from me like she'd been invited. Same face, same eyes, same heartbeat, I swear. You found it, she said. I nodded. What do you want? She leaned forward, her voice low, calm. To finish what we started. She slid an envelope across the table. It was thick, heavy. Inside, photos, documents, old IDs with my face but different names. One of them even had her name on it, but the photo was mine. not hers, not even ours, just me. This was your life, she said, before you chose to forget. I shook my head. Why would I choose that? She looked at me, eyes suddenly softer. Because you saw something you weren't supposed to, and you ran, but not with your feet, with your mind. She tapped the envelope. This is everything they tried to erase. The job, the trial, the reason you had to disappear. I wanted to run again, but there was nowhere to go, because wherever I ran, she'd be there. So what now? I asked. She smiled. This time, not cold, not mocking, just tired. Now, you decide. She stood, left the envelope, and walked away. No dramatic exit, no explosion, just the soft jingle of the cafe door closing behind her. I sat there for a long time. People came and went. The coffee cooled. The world spun on. In front of me, a sealed past, a forgotten self, and a choice I never imagined I'd have to make. Did I want to know who I was? Really? Or was the woman I'd become enough? That night, I went home, took the envelope, stood over the sink. I held a match in one hand, the envelope in the other. The flame danced, flickered. I watched it for what felt like forever. I won't tell you what I did. Maybe I burned it. Maybe I found her again. Maybe I became her. All I'll say is this. Be careful what you tried to forget, because one day, it might come looking for you. Thank you for listening. If this story gave you chills, made you question something in your own memory, or just kept you hooked, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who enjoys deep, strange, unforgettable stories. Until next time, remember who you are.